What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Welcome everybody to the Glass Less Traveled, the season 1 finale, episode number 27. We are here with the guys from my favorite podcast, the Sipping Social podcast.
Thank you.
If you guys have any questions, remember to comment below, whether you guys are watching on Facebook or YouTube or whatever you're watching on. This is going to be the season finale. We will be back sometime next year with more episodes from a new studio. You guys, thanks for having me out here. Johnny, thanks for having me out to the underground studio. This is super cool.
Yeah, cheers, man. I hope everybody can hear us because we're going through a new system here. So
yeah, I hope so.
I told these guys my biggest concern of the night is we're actually streaming this live, so it has no time to stop and hit the pause button, go have another Rumplements. So
yeah,
it's it's my worst fear. So
2020 sucks.
This is the worst year ever. Who do I talk to? Let's start the show like you guys normally do. What are we sipping on, boys?
I got the Half Acre Daisy Cutter, a go-to for me.
Surprise.
My favorite beer of all time. It's delicious.
I'm drinking a Benny's Pick Eagle Rare. I have no idea how old it is or where it falls in the line, but it's delicious.
I'm drinking a 5 years aged Republican rum with a yellow Red Bull. It's delicious.
Oh, beautiful.
Are you out of Captain?
I had a Captain already. And I'll probably grab one after this, but I just wanted something different to get a little energized, a little energy for the show. So
nice.
Figure try something different.
Yeah, right. I'm sipping on Union Horse. This is a distillery out of Lenexa, Kansas. My buddy Wilson is watching tonight. Shout out, Wilson. Let's kind of dive into things here. I'm really, really curious about the restaurant industry right now. You guys have been in the restaurant industry for a super, super long time. Tell us about the industry right now. Several counties have kind of gone back to this mandating of putting a mask on anytime you're with a server. How has the restaurant industry kind of been affected by this ever since this whole thing started, about 5-6 months ago?
It's a lot of work. There's a lot of explaining. This is all new to everybody. And, as a guest or a patron or an employee, we're all doing this together. That's new. So it's unprecedented in our time. And we've never seen anything like this. So there's a lot of explaining. We do have, for us at the Burger Social in downtown Wheaton, we have QR codes that go on the table that explain that you need to have your mask on when we approach the table. Are we cracking the whip on that? We do the best we can. And we encourage people to do it. And a lot of people do it. But, we also want people to enjoy themselves and, not feel watched upon or encroached upon while they're trying to enjoy their dine-out experience. So I think that between both sides, guests and my squad, we're trying to do the best we can with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most recent mandate of having to have a mask on whenever you get interaction with your server or bartender is like just a little bit extra. I mean, before, of course, you need to have a mask on when you come inside. The employees are all wearing a mask. They're wearing a mask even when they're serving tables outside. And then to do that one extra step where you're having tons of fights already from that stuff. So I think that when you add that extra, when I come up to the table and ask you if everything's okay, everyone needs to put their mask on or I need to stand 6 feet away it's a pretty tough ask. I don't think it's the wrong thing to do, but I don't think it's not something that I'm going to die on a hill for.
Right.
And then, to your point, what was I going to say? I totally forgot it.
Well, I think I agree. Like you're just, this whole thing is just adding an extra layer on top of an industry where you're always having to deal with people, right? In a way.
Yeah.
And so having this extra layer where you're having to basically explain these new rules to them on top of all the other bullshit, it's crazy. I was thinking, I can imagine it's super annoying.
So if you're sitting at the bar, right, and you have to put your mask on when you order a drink or talk to your bartender or whatever, but what if you're sitting so close where you're like right in front of the person washing dishes? If they're washing dishes, you need to put your mask on the whole time because you're within that 6 feet and you're talking within them. I don't know, but there's just so many little gray areas on it where I don't think any of us are. I think the best way to go about that is to say thank you to those who do it.
Yeah.
And then that will start a domino effect on the tables around them. But
have you guys seen that where people will come in and they'll they put their mask on, they're real good about it, and then you get those people that are just like, oh, screw this, I don't want to.
My favorite is when they have the mask on and they walk in the door, and as soon as they walk in the door, they take the mask off.
Right.
like it's that 6 feet that you need to wear the mask from the walking into the door.
Right.
And you're good.
I mean, do we agree with the new thing that they mandated though? Like every time the server comes to the table, like you got to throw your mask on the whole table. So you're just like mask on, mask off, mask on, mask off the whole time while you're touching your face and doing stuff more in that fashion of touching your face, which you shouldn't be doing anyways. I mean, I understand like people, the backside of that is like people in your restaurant industry, like you guys have to wear your mask while you're working. And then as the consumer, you're like, living freely in front of like people who are wearing masks. So it's this different dynamic, but yeah,
I don't know. I think it's I'm done arguing about it. So like whether it's good or wrong, then whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just put it on when you're walking around and when you're sitting down. If you forget to put it on when I bring over your side of ranch because you forgot to ask for it when you order your food, whatever.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's difficult because we want you to enjoy your time at our establishments, but we also want to be the safest that we can be. And whether you think this is what it is, there's two sides of every coin, and for us, this is what we're required to do to have a good time and have a safe time. And we're going to do the best that we can to make it that way for our guests. So
Johnny, I'm curious about you because you and I are like more on the consumer side of things,
right?
Like we just
big consumer over there on my left,
huge consumer.
we're all guilty of consuming some things. I think for me and you, maybe it's like a little bit different because like when like on Friday night or Saturday night, my wife is like, oh, let's go out here or go out here, and it's like, it's like it's kind of a pain in the butt, because now I don't mind wearing the mask, I really don't. I work in retail, so like I'm constantly telling people like, dude, put it above your nose. Or like just put your mask on and you're in here for 5 minutes. Like it's not that big of a deal. I'm here for 10 hours, but I think for you and me, it's a little bit different. Have you found that it's kind of like a little bit more just from a consumer side? You're like, it's just, it feels almost like more work.
I mean, for me personally, I'd rather be out and going to places than just sitting at my house and sitting in the basement. But I agree with you though. I agree that it is a pain in the ass, but it's a more of a pain in the ass for these guys.
Oh, for sure.
That are having to wear those masks every day that they're at work.
Yeah.
I've seen places that it's kind of off subject here, but on subject, but a little bit off subject. I've seen places actually list on a card when you sit down all their rules. And one of the places that I read, one of their things was not necessarily a rule, but they said, our staff is going to be less attentive to your table because we don't want to have the staff interacting with their customers as much during these times. So if you feel like you're being neglected, that's not on purpose. It's because we have a policy of going to your table only when necessary, like when your food's out or like when you're being sat or not for those unnecessary things when you come by and just how you guys doing? How was the meal? Like that kind of stuff.
Has your guys'
which is kind of weird
changed?
to me.
I mean, has it changed from like, table to table? You're like, we're not going to spend as much time, or is it's just like we're doing the same thing. We're just doing it with a mask on.
Yeah, we haven't changed that for our restaurant. We're doing the same thing, just with the mask on and being safe and sanitizing everything, tables, chairs, our hands, washing our hands all the time. But I don't understand why they don't necessarily do that to put it on there. Maybe if you just kind of did that on the sly and said, hey, just don't approach the table as much or just don't go up to, I mean, I don't see an issue with that, but it's kind of silly to put it on a card.
I think this was probably a sly way for this place because they just opened. A way to
yeah, we're gonna give bad service. I guarantee it.
If there's bad service, it's because of COVID.
Yeah, that's silly.
Hey, there's a lot of things we can blame COVID on right now, right?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting IBC root beer right now because there's a shortage of glass
and aluminum cans too. Yeah. It's like there's a shortage of everything. So I work. Everybody knows that watches the show. I work at a home improvement retailer. Wood is the hardest thing to get right now.
Cedar,
lumber, cedar.
Yeah,
I mean, you name it.
Oh, boy.
It's like the most difficult thing. So if you have any. I know you were just saying
these guys don't have problems producing wood.
Oh, I was waiting for. I was waiting.
I held mine in.
Anybody want to comment on that? It's really hard to get wood. Comment, anyone? Anyone out there in the
just lobbing it up
public?
Just lobbing it up.
It was a softball, man. Come on.
Exactly.
This is an 18 over show, right?
I have no problem getting treated wood.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Just gonna dead stare you in the eye after that one.
This guy. Can I just say? So I've listened to the Sipping Social podcast like from the very beginning.
Thank you. You're one of 8.
Yeah. So I've listened to every single episode, even the ones that you guys recorded from your separate homes. Do you ever find it weird? Because like I've seen Garrett before, but I don't think I've ever aside from tonight. Have you ever like met somebody or seen a picture of somebody and you're like, I don't put their voice to that face. You know?
Yeah, like anyone to listen to on sports talk radio.
Right. You see their face and you're like, that's not who. I don't know. I didn't picture them being that kind of person. I don't know. Like, I know, like you guys have a lot of listeners that, you know, that are part of the Fox Valley Whiskey Society. Obviously I share every post that you guys have. It was just weird to like meeting you guys for the first time. I'm like, oh man, there's no way like that. That's not what I pictured those guys to look like. We got Wilson.
Sinister, I love it.
Wilson. Mike takes pills to get. Oh, Jesus.
Right.
Who told you?
Oh boy, it's gonna be a long night.
Oh man,
you got a free drink.
Yeah,
Amazing
there you
Ash,
go, yeah.
Sinister, whoever you are. I don't care what
Did you
look
pay
like.
them to do this?
No.
You know.
Yeah, you did.
Here,
I don't have that kind of money.
Here we go. Here, I'll put that. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, we're looking at
That's all good.
we're looking at the
We're
comments in
looking
the
at-
live
yeah.
feed, and somebody wrote an inappropriate comment.
Yeah, I mean, you
It's
know,
funny
whatever.
though.
It is funny.
It's funny.
It's probably my wife.
Oh.
Is it my wife?
How many accounts does she have?
How many? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a real question. Maybe we'll do this. We'll have this conversation off air.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll save this for another time. So you guys know that I primarily talk about the craft industry, whether it be craft beer or craft distilling. And I'm curious as to your view on craft beers and spirits in the restaurant industry. It's obviously much harder to sell craft spirits than craft beer, or even the larger distilleries like Heaven Hill and Buffalo Trace. I'm curious as to what you think needs to change to see more craft spirits come into the restaurant industry, but be kind of like be mentioned and sold to the customer so that there's a little bit more exposure.
Mike, you talk about the beer, and then I'll talk about the spirits.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, that question was about the spirits.
Well, it's about both.
Okay, all right. For craft beer, it's killing it right now, and everything's local for us. I mean, we're bringing in anything within a 20 to 30 mile radius into the city too. Anything that's local and craft, it's killing it at social. So it is expanding. I think in like 2012 there was somewhere around like 2,400 breweries. By 2017 there's almost 7,000, 8,000 breweries. Like it
I think
almost
a little over 8,000.
yeah,
now,
like tripled in size. So it's doing well. There is going to be a plateau, but the thing is with COVID, everybody's drinking more. So that's allowing some of these craft breweries to sell more beer and actually make more beer than they had been before. So,
and as far as the spirits go, I think that the hard part is that anything craft is a hand sell. So that you need to talk to a server, or talk to your bartender, and then have like, hey, what should I try new? We touched on this a lot in our Cody Road episode. It'd be a real shame if any of you guys went back and listened to that one. But the hard part is that one, the craft, especially local, it ages differently than it does in Kentucky. So the Kentucky product after 6 years is like real oaky, real vanilla, real smooth. And then stuff in the Midwest, you get a lot more of the characteristics from the yeast and from the wood and from the actual grain that they're using. And there's nothing wrong with either one of those. It's just more of it's not what they're used to. They're used to drinking like Woodford and Makers. So then to get them to try, the stuff in DeKalb, the Whiskey Acres or the Journeyman or John J. Henry, you have to like talk them into it. And I think that once you get them into stuff like that, then it's easy, but it's literally an uphill battle.
Yeah, I think it's a totally different like characteristic almost. I mean, it's a totally different ballgame. You've got these people that are, like you said, used to drinking Woodford or Eagle Rare or whatever, and then you tell them like, oh, well, here, try this, this distillery out of, California, or this one out of, Alabama or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, I'll try it, and then they try it, and it's like, it's almost not what they expect. It's like, oh, well, I kind of wanted this to taste like Woodford Reserve or Buffalo Trace or whatever,
I will say this: pre-COVID, having bars, be set fully 100%. Right now we're in 25% of gathering areas, so my 24-seat bar is down to 6 seats. So prior to that, it was bourbon drinkers want to try new stuff.
The opportunity was there, right?
Yeah, the opportunity was there. If you sold them, they tasted out on it and it was decent, they would drink it. Now it's pretty tough for that. So now even more so, uphill battle for craft spirits in my experience, just because I don't have someone sitting in front of me while I'm making a cocktail to talk about the new product we brought in. Now I'm just running around like an idiot.
So, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. So.
I don't think. I think the hard part now is that because we don't know as a restaurant that what's going to happen over the next 6 months. Are we going to get shut down inside do we have an outdoor tent during the winter? I don't know, but we're not bringing in new products.
Yeah,
we're not bringing in something that just came out or like a brand new. There's no way to sell it.
Right. So if you guys have like a distributor come in or like a sales rep or a brand rep, like we have Wilson Torres watching tonight. He's a good friend of mine. He's actually the brand rep for this one, actually right here.
Hey, Wilson.
Union Horse
Wilson.
Distillery. This is so we're in September right now. It's the 30 Days of Bourbon Challenge. So this is my day 16 Union Horse Distilling Bourbon. I don't know, maybe Wilson, if you're in the comments, I know you're watching tonight. I don't know, maybe you can chime in, but I mean, it's got to be hard when you guys have like a rep, because you guys have reps come in like almost regularly. They're like,
Constantly.
hey, how are sales doing on this? Have you tried selling it in a old fashioned or in a Manhattan or this or that or the other? I mean, are you having to like kind of like turn people away at this point of just saying like, hey man, it's weird right now.
It's kind of where we're at. I was actually telling Garrett about it today. At a nice, lovely rep come in. She does a good job. She works for a smaller distributor. We carry a couple of her products, including J. Henry. Hopefully that doesn't give away anything. But she's doing a good job, and she wanted to bring in some new products. And I explained it to her, and she's like, "That's great. When things change and we kind of go back to a little bit more normalcy, let me know. I'd love to get some more brown spirits on your back bar because we're heavily into that." And she understands it, and when the time turns, we'll go back to it.
It's gotta be tough for them too. There's the third part of that. There's the consumer, there's the restaurant, and then there's there's on the on premise, at liquor stores too. So a lot of these distribution companies have done is they fired a lot of people first off, but the people that they've kept are doing on and off premise. So if it does get shut down again, they still have sales. So they're also selling to liquor stores. So maybe those liquor stores are able to hand sell that stuff too. Yeah. So we might see a little more action in that end of it, but not necessarily by the ounce.
Johnny, as a drinker, fine spirits.
Well, I was going to say before you asked that question, I was going to say, whenever I see those guys at 1 PM, on a weekday, having a few drinks at the bar, selling their stuff, looking at their iPads, I think it's the best freaking job in the world.
Me too.
I mean, it's got to be, right?
It's got to be. So I've met a couple, it's been really cool kind of like getting to experience like the restaurant side of things. So I've been into restaurants where, there's like a distillery rep or a distribution rep that comes in. They're like, oh, here, try this wine or try this bourbon or try this whatever, with the bartender on site. And I'm just sitting there like, hey, so like, I run the Fox Valley Whiskey Society. Like, I'd love to like try some of whatever you got. And, we got hooked up with Momentum Beverage, through that, doing that. And, I know the guys over there really well, and we've got, some cool hookups from them. So it's kind of cool, like just kind of being there and be like, hey man, hey, what do you got? Slide, just push it down the bar a little bit, but I'm curious for you as like
you should ask to see their trunk.
Oh,
I'm not even kidding.
I have. So Matt, my guy, Matt with Momentum Beverage, dude, he came in. So the restaurant in Geneva, which will remain nameless. He came in one day and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm Matt with Momentum. I was like, oh man, cool. I just did an event here with, through the Fox Valley Whiskey Society. And, here's my card. I'd love to have your card, your contact info if we ever do anything, here again. And he's like, well, here, try some stuff. Here, try some this. And this is a tequila, and here's a Mescal, and here's a wine and a bourbon that we have. He's like, but wait a minute, I got some good stuff in my trunk. Yeah. Hold on 1 minute. I'll be right back. And then he comes back in with like, like wine. It's like $500 a bottle.
Does he wear a bucket hat?
Yeah. You know who it is. I know you know who it is.
There's only one Matt.
There's only one Matt. Yeah, he's a cool guy though.
He is a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
He really. Yeah. Do you watch his videos that he posts with him and his daughter? It's awesome.
It is beautiful.
It's super cool. Yeah,
it is cool.
Super cool. So Matt, if you're watching tonight, if you're watching the future, shout out.
Start watching, Matt.
Definitely not watching.
Yeah, come on, Matt.
He's probably not watching.
Get on it.
Definitely. Johnny, I'm curious for you, like as a consumer, you have this great selection, behind us. You have these two that have basically a world of spirits at their disposal. Is it
never got anything?
Yeah, these guys are my distribution company.
There you go.
Never given you a bottle.
Is it cool for you to like obviously you get some like really good stuff. Maybe like you've been able to try stuff that's a little bit more allocated. Is it cool for you to try all this new stuff? Like, are you like, do you see some of these craft distilleries and you're like, oh man, cool. Like what's this one about? Or like what's.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm more interested in on the onset of like the bottle design, I'm a designer at Nature. So that's what first catches my eye. Secondly, like I said, these guys are my distribution company, and these guys have shown me like so many different things that I should try as a consumer. You should have your own personal distribution company if you're out there, like try to meet somebody who's in the industry and then you'll get the good stuff. But
It's the only reason that John signed up for this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Exactly. We pay him in booze.
yeah. I would say like, maybe 4-5 years ago, I started getting into whiskey, and these shelves were basically empty down here in the basement here.
You added a shelf.
I added a shelf. There used to not be any double shelves in the back bar. There was just a handful of like whiskey bottles, and then just kind of getting in touch with these guys and kind of learning about the industry and starting the podcast and trying all these different things. I mean, you gotta, when you're out there and you're looking and you see something unique, you got to pull the trigger on it and try it, but
Look at Pat's comment up there.
oh, our buddy Pat.
Is John a drinker? Here, is John a drinker? No.
No.
And then we got our buddy.
In another dimension, I'm not a drinker.
No. Same. In front of my family, I'm not a drinker, but they don't watch the show, so.
No, I was going to say,
I don't hang out with them anyway. So
am I not a drinker? This whole COVID thing made me more of a drinker, because not only do I drink at home now because I'm always home, but then when we're out, you got to, you normally drink when you're out at the restaurant and the bar. So it's almost like, how do you get away from it?
Right.
Am I drunk? I don't know.
Do you remember John's New Year's resolution?
Yeah.
For 2020. I wish we had that.
Let's rewind that
on
the clip.
Oh man,
Get haircuts more, tan more, and drink less.
Yeah. So I'm white as a ghost. My hair is super long, and I drink pretty much every day.
And no tanning.
No tanning.
Look how long his hair is.
No tanning
He looks
whatsoever.
like he belongs on a surfboard in South Beach.
You got out of the truck, and I
Who
was
am
like,
I? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You got out of the truck this
I love
afternoon,
it.
and I was like, man, that guy belongs in California.
Mhm.
Look at this guy.
No doubt.
Look at this guy. We got our buddy Lee from Boot Hill Distillery out there in Dodge City, Kansas. Lee, we're getting really close to picking a barrel, by the way. We're doing a barrel pick with them. We're doing a little bit of a private barrel with a really, really select group of people. So we'll have something for you in a couple weeks.
Notice we didn't get asked for that. We're not part of that.
We're not popular.
No,
It's like
not Michael Viverdi popular.
Dude, I'm telling you, I want to say it's like maybe 45 bottles.
Oh
Right,
wow.
Yeah. Did you see the pictures that we posted?
Yeah.
153 proof corn whiskey.
Yeah, that sounds.
Dude,
I mean,
it's
I love
low.
high
Oh my
proof,
God,
and I
dude.
get knocked for it, but that is, I mean,
Dude, let me tell you how spectacular it is. It's unbelievable. It's hot. It will like.
I've had trouble growing hair in my chest.
Not me.
I mean, you've been drinking all that 151. That's
Yeah, I know, man. It's crazy. Garrett and Mike, you guys have been in the restaurant industry obviously for a long time, and you've seen trends come and go. The bourbon broom, as it would be, has been going strong, and you guys have both seen its popularity rise. Do you see any other trends starting to emerge, whether it be specific cocktails, spirits, or styles of beer like IPAs, sours, pastry stouts, etc.? Do you see anything else coming about in the industry that you're like, oh man, I didn't expect that one?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely gin and tequila are starting to creep into
tequila for sure.
more craft cocktails and more popularity. Gin for young people that come to Burger Social that I would never expect them to say, I'll have a gin and soda.
Really?
Yeah. And it's strange, and gin is a decent spirit, especially if you love that botanical flavor. But you just don't expect it. But yeah, so for me, gin and tequila, with craft beer, it really rides the seasons. Midwest is huge on the hazy IPAs.
Big.
If Midwest could say that hazy IPAs are a Midwestern thing, we would do it. There's the New England style IPA or Northeast style IPA. That's legit. The hazy is a little bit different. And that's just killer. We could have 3 hazy IPAs on at one time on draft, all gone in 4 days.
Really?
Half barrels, not a problem.
That's all I see. Like I'm sure you guys are probably part of it too, like the Chicago craft beer, whatever, on Facebook, and everybody's like, hey, what's, like, have you tried this hazy? Have you tried this one? And it's like, man, it just seems like it's really, really popular right now.
Huge in the Midwest. Everybody loves it.
I've been seeing like a lot of so I'm a huge Energy Cities fan, like shout out to David and Heidi. Super, super great beers. I like that fruity, like,
cool.
I just like that kind of like milkshakey, super thick, almost like you're drinking like
you can chew on it a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see obviously, so like gin and tequila, like that's a clear. I think I saw that one coming. Johnny, what about you? Do you see, like, when you go out, you're like, oh, I didn't notice like those back on the shelf before? Is there anything that you reach for that maybe you thought you wouldn't have before?
Well, I was just going to mention, like, I was just on a trip out west, and I went through like Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, that area. And I was kind of impressed with the different selections of whiskey that they're making out there that I had never even heard of.
Yeah.
There's one whiskey called Sudden Wisdom out of Missoula that I picked up on the road.
Oh yeah, how many of those did you bring back for us?
2.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I brought 2 of those.
Why haven't we tried that yet?
Yeah.
It's on the shelf. We can try it
Oh my
afterwards.
I
God.
brought 2 pizzas and I haven't
But
got
you
any
just
two of
don't
those bottles.
you don't realize this industry that's I think it's just spreading. The bourbon industry is just spreading across the country. And you don't realize that all these different states are just popping up distilleries all over. I mean, you know it, but
Right.
you just don't know it until you're there and you find all these different bottles, and it's good.
Yeah, I don't know if anything's. I don't think anything's beating whiskey for the next 5 to 7 years. I think
Sure.
it's king right now, especially with all these other new distilleries popping up, and everyone who's into whiskey are trying new things and buying new bottles, and they're not necessarily buying it because they've heard it. They've heard it before. They're buying it because they haven't heard of it before.
Right.
So there's no way tequila is taking over whiskey in the next 5 years.
No, but I do think that the tequila like climb is a little bit steeper than where bourbon is because of its popularity and
Yeah,
because
agree.
of all the money that a lot of the bourbon distilleries have thrown into it and the expansions that they're working on, which will make bourbon not less popular, just more available. Where tequila, like on the West Coast, is just like killing it and everybody's just drinking tequila, you know? So different pockets of the US definitely are going to dictate different things too. The Midwest is so close to Kentucky.
Right.
I mean, Chicago is so close to Kentucky. We're the largest market closest to them.
Sure.
So it only makes sense that we would be more popular in bourbon and have more access to that stuff than somebody in LA would, you know?
Yeah. Do you see like a progression where like, so like my good buddy Steven, who helps me run the Fox Valley Whiskey Society, he's our like our beer guru, like our beer Buddha, if you will.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
So and here's
He's not
here's
watching.
our he's probably not watching. He's actually sitting at what's that barbecue joint in Oak and Swine for a couple cocktails right now. Do you guys see like a progression? Like I've seen it with guys that go from like I'm going to drink IPAs and then I'm going to drink porters and stouts and then I'm going to move on to bourbon. Do you see like that progression? Like guys that are drinking bourbon are like, oh, I'm going to try to get into this, or I'm going to try this or this, or like, do you see anybody sitting at the bar who's like, all right, I just had this bourbon, let me try this?
Usually with me, they have like 3 bourbons. And they're like, all right, I have to leave in an hour and a half. I'll have a Coors Light. So unless most of these guys aren't like walking home. So
I defer. I think that there's a little progression from bourbon to rye, but there's a lot.
Yeah.
There can be like a big. If someone was to say, "I'll have a bourbon and a scotch," I think that's just somebody who's kind of just like jumping around,
trying to like
and
feel it
figuring out, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But like if go from bourbon, which is a little bit softer, and then you go to the rye, which has got a little bit more peppery, and you want a little bit more flavor as your taste buds die as you get older, then even if it's in 5 minutes, you want to try something new.
Have you guys ever offered anybody like a brown liqueur, like bourbon or rye, and then they would tell you that, no, my body's a temple and I only put clear liquor in my body? You ever heard this before?
I have.
Yeah.
One time.
And then we showed him the door. We're like,
see ya.
But I mean, have you ever experienced anybody that only drinks clear liquor as opposed to brown liquor?
Sure.
I can't believe I'm here. I only drink clear.
Like vodka, tequila, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot
Even
of
like-
vodka sodas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
My vodka soda
Very
game is
low
on
calorie.
point.
so we got somebody. So if you guys don't know, it pops up Facebook user if you guys don't allow StreamYard to use it. So whomever this is, I progressed to Mescal old fashions, and I don't think I can go back.
Nails. Stuff's so good.
Dude, Mescal. I love Mescal.
Honestly, it's too smoky for me. I feel like I'm chewing on straight tobacco.
Yeah,
you need
yeah,
to-
that's true.
Do a split base mezcal tequila, or do a tequila with a spray or rinse of mezcal, so it's not so bad.
I like aged tequilas. I just can't do mezcal. Anything that's got that smokiness into it,
Yeah.
it brings me back to tobacco.
So you couldn't do like maybe like an Ardbeg or a Lagavulin where it's just like
I
chewing
don't-
on a campfire.
Yeah, I can't. No Lafroig.
Oh man.
If you can put a drop of it on your hand and you get the sediment in it from rolling it around, can't drink it.
Oh, dude, I love that though.
That's those.
I like I don't want to say I like it, but like like when you sit at a campfire and like you just smell like that for the next 4 days.
Oh sure.
That's what like Lafroig or Ardbeg or Lagavulin. It's kind of like what Mescal is too.
4
Like,
days?
dude. Well,
How
all right,
many,
listen.
how many showers?
Well, I
you
mean,
take
I
in a
don't
week?
mind.
Listen, man.
I don't mind smelling like that. I just don't want to drink that.
Fair enough.
True.
Yeah, I like. I mean, even if I got like a beard, a little beard oil that smelled like an open fire, great.
The more we know about John,
I know.
it's just incredible.
Speaking of John, Johnny is the questions guy in all the Sipping Social podcasts, who always has these well thought out, interesting questions for guests. And I'm curious as to who your favorite guest was from an interview standpoint, and what for you is kind of like, take us back to like the very beginning, like through each episode, like what for you was like stands out as like, oh man, that was the best guest from an interview standpoint.
Well, I'll start out with sort of like the interview process. I would say the best interview that I had personally with someone was Joe Henry when he came over here. I did a lot of prep work for that. I did a lot of like research on their website and watched a lot of videos and kind of what they were doing. Wrote a whole bunch of notes, and then just hanging out with him and talking to him about how his family started the whole business and how it's a family entity, right? I mean, Joe Jr. sells it, Joe Sr. makes it, and his brother also has a part in making it as well. And then Liz does all the marketing, their mom. And I just thought it was a fascinating story about this family that kind of came into bourbon making out of their old family farm and kind of repurposed their property and are now making this like awesome brand for themselves.
Sure.
I thought that was kind of the coolest episodes to be a part of, to put in our pocketbook and always have that as something that we recorded. Yeah. I thought that was awesome.
We just recently went up there this past weekend, this past Saturday, and went and we actually had dinner with Liz. It was super cool. She took us
What
out.
a brag.
I know, right? I don't mean
like just you and I.
Well, I mean,
Does Joe Senior know about this?
I mean, he didn't go, but he knew about it.
Right,
he knew about it. But it was super cool. I mean, just like a really cool family. And actually, Joe was episode number 1 of the Glassless Traveled. Super, like you said, super cool family. Really, really cool story. What about you guys? Anybody that like sticks out and you're like,
it's really hard. I was thinking about it when you asked John that question, and like 3 people immediately popped in my mind. And honestly, the one thing I'll say about the podcast is that it's just brought me in front of people that I maybe would have been introduced to one day or had a conversation with, but not legitimately get to sit down and like talk to them for an hour about their product. I mean, Steve Nally from Bardstown Bourbon Company, Denny Potter from Maker's Mark, Paul Hulecko from Few, the owner. I mean, like, there's 4 more people I want to name. You know, it's just, I would have met these people probably, but just not had their time like that this has been able to provide for us. So for me, it's kind of all the interviews, to be honest with you, and just the overall experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if you're asking like the I would say like I can't think of like the best question I've ever asked, but I can tell you what the worst question I ever asked.
Which is?
So we were interviewing Denny Potter from Maker's Mark, and he's kind of a industry biblical person, right? Guru, right? Yeah. And I kind of didn't really know this when we interviewed him. So we set up at Maze and Mash in their private space up in the back of the restaurant, and we're setting up all the gear and stuff like that. And right before we started like doing the pod, it actually wasn't recorded. Thank God this wasn't recorded. I asked Denny Potter, have you ever been on a podcast?
Oh my God.
And I'm like, and then like afterwards, like these guys kind of chuckled and like, what? And then afterwards I looked, and this guy's been on like TV shows and podcasts and radio shows and like all this stuff, like for the last like 10 years. Have you been on a podcast? What a moron.
Dude, he's on Hulu and Netflix in like a documentary.
I had no idea.
He was good about it though.
Yeah, he was like, oh yeah.
I got this, man.
Yeah.
I got this.
You see how I'm plugging in these cords into the mixer? You ever been on a podcast?
I think he took 2 Ruppelmans with us.
He did.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got to meet Denny at oh God, what's that place? The cocktail bar right in downtown Glen Ellen.
Common Good.
Dude, by the way, love that.
Love
place.
it.
Super good.
Love
super cool
it.
people. I got
That's
to
probably
meet
the best restaurant in Glen Ellen.
What's the best cocktail bar in Glen Ellen for sure?
And like, so like
for sure.
I'm gonna give a shout out to these guys real quick at Common Good. Dude, so like prices for stuff to do. I had some stuff that I'm like, oh shit, man, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like $18 for this for like a whatever it would like 18-year or like whatever Elijah Craig or like Amaranth. I got to try like E.H. Taylor Amaranth. For it was like $15. I'm like, cool, man.
Prices are solid. Good dudes that run it. So Garrett and I have a little bit of a a huge rivalry with everything. But he thinks that I think that Common Good is the best cocktail joint in Glen Ellen.
I agree.
Even though Maze and Mash is a great cocktail joint in Glen Ellen. So that's why you'll hear some tense conversations regarding Garrett and I whenever that comes around. But that place is phenomenal. Maze and Mash is phenomenal. Whiskey between the two of them.
Dude, I love
what town can you go into and have 2 bars like that?
Right.
That you can literally get 600 whiskeys over here, 300 whiskeys over here, Boom.
Dude, it's
Common,
crazy.
Common Good's great for having like 20-year-old Willet, like something that you'll never find
Never
outside
find.
of like some sort of auction group, and it's just sitting up there collecting dust, and no one ever looks at it.
Dude, right? So like I'm
They have a
sitting.
big problem selling whiskey by the port.
Really,
People are just going straight for cocktails.
really.
So, I mean,
oh, dude,
the reason
I
their
sat
old fashioned
down-
has like 6 different Sazerac bourbons in it because they just can't get rid of them.
What? I sat down and I was sitting at a table across from the bar, and I'm just like enamored. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, like I don't even know, like what do I go like? All right, here's my list, my top 5. So like, boom, 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 and then we get the bill, and I'm like, this is way cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
It's awesome. Dude.
awesome,
It's really
awesome.
good.
But it gets packed. It gets packed. It's small. It's a small place.
Yeah, but so
There's
they
like
just
4
added
tables.
on, not to plug them, but they just added on 8 tables on their patio.
We're
So
a
they hit-
restaurant podcast. That's good.
Yeah. So perfect.
We'll talk about Maze and Burger Social a little.
But they just added onto their patio. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
it
I
is
was just
really nice.
there.
Yeah,
It's really nice. They bumped one of the best things.
Yeah,
is
I was
that
gonna say
can
this.
listen. I can listen to their music all day. I will sit on the patio sipping some sort of bourbon on the rocks and listen to Biggie Smalls.
Yeah,
all
like
night.
90s
And
rap,
it's
like all afternoon.
fantastic. It's
It's
the
awesome.
best. You only hear that in the city.
Yeah.
Go to cocktail bars or whiskey bars in the city. They're playing stuff we grew up with, and Common Good does the same thing. It's well thought out for sure.
So when you're in Glen Ellen, Maze and Mash,
Yes.
Eat dinner at Maze.
Come-
Go for a cocktail afterwards.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Common
Post in
Good.
a
Yeah.
cocktail. That would be a great night.
Yeah.
I guarantee you have a great time.
Patrick, we have 2.
Yeah, our buddy Pat is asking if we had rumpies yet today, and of course we did. And
I had
because
one.
this is a live podcast, I don't know if you were like starting out, viewing this when we first started. We said we can't have another one because we're live, so
Yeah.
I can't run back behind
So
the
he's
bar.
upset about it.
Yeah, Pat.
Pat, if you can
We
figure
should have
it
just
out.
left the bottle on the table.
but
Look at all
I'm
this
not
other-
driving home, so I can have another one.
Remember when you said no to the other one?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, like right
It's
before
still-
we
it's
started,
still
like,
early.
it's still early.
It's
Yeah,
really
it's still
early.
like I don't know, whatever time it is. So our buddy Wilson, are you guys going to get those 2 horses in front of y'all? I'll join you. So I absolutely am because I'm empty right now. I'm going to reach over here.
I'll grab.
Wilson's got his own podcast too, right?
No,
No?
he was on ours though.
Who am I thinking of then?
He was on ours.
Hmm.
Union Horse, dude, man. So this is their barrel strength rye. I don't know, it's kind of like a heavy pour, but I'm gonna pour that for you. You want some? This is like one of my. So Wilson, you know this. This is one of my absolute favorite ryes. So Union Horse is out of Lenexa, Kansas. This is actually my their bourbon is my 30 days of bourbon, my day 16.
Nice.
This is a super good rye, like really kind of like fruity almost, little floral, but dude, man, this one's like, oh, there's the Rumplemans and their shot glasses. Jesus Christ.
So if you
only
were on
brought
our
3.
podcast, I'd be asking you about your 30-day challenge
Yeah.
and how that.
Let's talk about that
Yeah,
for a
real
second.
quick. So
Let's go into the 30 days. So
tell us about it a
Let's
little bit,
reverse
please.
this.
So
All right,
let-
yeah.
so-
Welcome to Sipping Social
Sipping
Podcast.
Social Podcast.
Hey guys, thanks for having
What are
me.
you guys sipping on?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell me about the 30 whiskeys you're
here,
about to drink.
get that cork out of there, John. Yeah, that sounds real nice. So last week we were doing our episode for Bourbon Heritage Month. The 30 Days of Bourbon Challenge is really cool. It's put on by Bourbon and Banter, which I'm not affiliated with at all. It's a little calendar you can print out, and if you go on and you post to Instagram or Facebook and you hashtag 30 Days of Bourbon, tag Bourbon Banter in there, and then go onto their website and like register for the whole thing. It's just like enter your email, right? And like you have a chance to win like all this like free swags, like
Sweet.
t-shirts and glasses and bottle. It's just super cool stuff. So today is day 16. I actually filled out my calendar ahead of time, and my good friend Jeff Schwartz, who is a whiskey writer, reviewer, blogger, calls himself the Whiskey Fellow. He said, he goes, dude, Mike, don't fill out your calendar beforehand because you're not going to follow it. I'm like, I got this.
Yeah, we're probably going to not have the bottle by the end of the month.
I so far have followed it to the T,
Wow.
except for the day we went to J. Henry.
Hmm.
I replaced it with some barrel pulls that we got out of the barrels.
I'm right.
I don't even
I think
remember.
that's
I don't even
respectable.
remember what I was supposed to be drinking. I was just like, whatever, man.
Yeah. You're in a distillery.
Like, who cares?
Why?
You know, like,
What does it matter?
Yeah, exactly.
One of them?
And it was super cool. We got.
Has anyone else called you out on that?
No.
Perfect. Then no
No.
one knows about it.
Who? Yeah.
Yeah.
People do now.
No one's watching. We're good.
Nobody's watching. Yeah. If you guys want to join in, feel free to comment with what you guys are drinking tonight. Is this more Rumplemans?
Oh yeah.
You asked for
I'm
it.
going to do this before the. I don't want to ruin the ride. Do you guys
Yeah,
want
don't
to
You
ruin
take
the
can't,
it?
you can't ruin the ride. It's
Don't
so
ruin the
good.
ride.
You can't ruin it, right?
No,
That's
Save
how
it.
good it
Just
is.
save
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to ruin the ride. Have you guys? So, is this one that you guys are familiar with? Are you familiar with Union Horse? Out of
Yeah, we carry it, but we don't have the barrel proof ride though.
you guys carried at Maze?
Yep.
Have you had their? That you haven't had this ride,
I haven't.
dude.
I'll get it after this one.
All right.
All right, I promise. I'll have a
Cheers.
sip. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. All right. Oh yeah,
Tastes really good.
it's got some bite.
Johnny,
Not as much as I was expecting.
There you go.
the producer. Johnny, this is a little loud. What? The mic's a little loud.
Mine is.
Yeah.
He's just excited.
Oh, when I
It's-
talk?
it's been a while.
Oh, okay.
I just let me know.
We'll figure it out.
We'll cut all that later.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's because I'm talking straight into it.
Yeah, that's fine. It feels
And,
like
and now it's
it
Rumpleman's
almost
time. Is
feels
it?
like I'm on NPR.
Where's John's?
John, where's your? We shorted
Okay,
one
so
Is
go
Rumpleman.
ahead.
it, is it Rumpleman's
Go ahead.
time now?
Where's
Ooh.
yours?
I'll just drink out of the bottle.
Okay,
Here we go.
perfect.
All right, hold on here.
Perfect.
So, Mary Tosh, she's got a 1792 full proof. That's
Oh,
a
nice.
really good one.
Nice,
Yeah,
really
I
solid.
Really, really
Yeah.
like that one.
Oh, Mark Jordan.
Great
Yeah.
flavor.
Where'd you get your Blantons from?
So here we got Mark Jordan's, got Blanton's.
Yeah, where'd you get that from?
Yeah, Mark, where'd you get that Blanton's from? Everybody's curious. Dude, everybody wants to know.
I
Hey,
wanna
man,
know.
hey, you got any Blanton's?
You got a hookup?
You got the hookup with Blanton's?
Yeah, who's got
What
the
letter
hookup?
you got?
Yeah, buddy. Oh, we got all of them.
What
Which one do you want?
What an incredible whiskey.
You got the N with the colon next to it. You got that's the one. That's the
Dude,
one.
the R is the hardest one to find.
No, they're all made equally. It's a myth.
Mhm.
They're all made 100% equally.
There's no R in Blanton's.
Oh my god.
Cheers.
I hate you.
Cheers.
Oh my god, fucking Rumpleman's.
Solid.
And then we got Wilson obviously down here, who is sipping on the new Union Horse Second City Select Single Barrel. That one was actually I think just released. Was it? I think it was just released today.
What a
Correct
brag
me if
that
I'm wrong.
is.
Yeah.
He probably knows the guy.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to do a. Yeah, he probably knows again. Maybe we'll have to do a barrel pick with Union Horse one of these days, right, Wilson? Today, there we go. And then we got Mark Augustin sipping on the Elijah Craig Toasted. Did you guys try that one
Ooh,
yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I like it.
Do you?
I do.
Garrett?
Michael
I
hates
li-
it.
No, you hate it?
So I had it back to back maybe like 2 weeks ago. I went to a bottle share with some friends out in Sleepy Hollow. And we had it back to back with just the regular small batch. And I was like, man, I don't know. I kind of like the small, and I don't really care for a small batch too much. Like I don't go out of my way to like buy like a store pick of it. But I'm like, I don't know, man. I kind of like the small batch a little bit. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It is good. But I'm like, eh.
I like how we both just mean mugged him for that whole
Yeah, I
conversation.
know.
made him
You're just
back out
looking
of
at me
it.
like,
Yeah.
oh no.
So-
I think it's good. I think the
Yeah.
prices that are people paying on the secondary
it's a little outrageous.
is like twice as much, but I don't think that's worth it. So
I think it's tasty. I just love the toasted barrels that come out that are get that little sweetness to it is a little extra above
Now,
bourbon.
Do you guys have it at your restaurants?
Mhm.
Yep.
So if you guys want to try it, go to Burger Social or Maize and Mash.
Mhm.
You guys can try it. Who else we got?
ooh, Mark got it for is that a Maize and
Oh,
Mash?
here we go. Hold on, Mark.
Maize and Mash and Burger Social.
Here we go.
Blanton's pick. Nice.
Nice.
I got
Very nice.
that Elijah Craig toasted through my special distribution company.
These two.
Yeah.
These two. Do you guys have a name for your distribution company? Is it just
We're not charging enough, that's for sure.
right?
Not charging
Just give me the
enough.
name of it.
Yeah.
Charging enough. Bevco.
Not charging enough Bevco. Garrett, I want to kind of you are a certified bourbon steward, and certainly a bourbon connoisseur. I'm always interested as to kind of like people's like I call them like their genesis, if you will, right? Like the very beginning, like when you first took a sip of bourbon, you're like, that's it. That's the one that I really like this. I want to learn about it. I want to know about it. This is kind of what I want. I want to get certified as a bourbon steward and I want to tell people about it. What was your kind of like aha moment?
I have the dumbest story about why I like whiskey.
Hey man,
I
so dude, I got a really dumb one too.
I love Coors Light. Still do.
Yeah, so do I.
And I was going to a ton of weddings and I love being on the dance floor. So I was constantly going to the bathroom. So I switched to scotch at weddings. It was my wedding drink. And then I realized I liked Johnny Walker Black better than red. And I was wondering what other scotch there was. And I got into scotch, and the guys we work for now saw that I liked making cocktails and that the restaurant I was at wasn't letting me do a cocktail menu. So they're like, well, maybe you should come work with us. And like the first week I made so much money that like I've never made that much money in 1 week in my life. And I realized it's because this wall of bourbon and rye behind me. And I don't think I had anything besides Jack Daniels and Jim Beam before that, but I had every single scotch that we had. And then, so I spent the next 8 months like drinking bourbon and rye so I could sell it. And then after 2 years of working there, I started like bringing bottles home, not from the restaurant, but like I was like started going to stores and buying bottles, and like I don't have one of these yet. I should probably bring one of those home. And then all of a sudden, we opened up Maize and Mash, and I was like, "There's no way I can't be the face of this restaurant and not have some sort of certification that like validates me." Because I've got no beard, I've got no tattoos. I live in
Nobody's gonna believe
I
me.
live in Wheaton with a dog and a cat and a wife and a fence.
You are painting a beautiful picture.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing like cool or edgy about me, so I need to like have some sort of reason why I'm doing this. So I got the guys to get me and the GM of Barrel and Rye to go to do the certification, and it was like one of the coolest things I've ever done. I think I could have passed it without taking the class after, and then all I did was ask questions.
Yeah,
I just asked a ton of questions. I think you dove in and read a ton of books.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I read like
there's
a
not
ton
enough
of books.
pictures in those books for me, so there's
not.
books.
But dude, I don't know if you've seen my books, but there's not enough Post-it notes.
Yeah,
for me to fill those books. Like I went through I was like making notes, and I'm like, oh man, here's like the Whiskey Rebellion, and here's like the decanters and all this and that. I took the. I mean, like you were probably the same way. I was like, I got the book in the mail, and I was like, I don't need to read this.
Yeah,
I just like took the test.
The first 3 chapters are garbage, but the one thing I did do I thought was really interesting that I have kind of gotten away from is that every week I would call a distillery and ask to talk to someone on the distillery side. And I'd be like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. We carry your product. I love it. Tell me how to sell it better.
Oh.
And so then they'd be like, well, they give me like these like little insider tips that, I mean, some I remember and some I don't, but it was just really interesting for the next, couple months of like when then you go back and taste it, like, oh, maybe I do. Or I'd have conversations with like the master blender at Traverse City about like, how would you ever blend something different than your batch 1 port cast bourbon?
Would you have to like wait long on the phone?
Oh yeah,
did
for
you
sure.
Get like a phone call back, like
sometimes it was
3
like
weeks later,
like.
Because I can't imagine they have somebody like.
Well, I wasn't asking to talk to the master distiller, just talk someone who's on the distilling team.
I feel like they didn't expect that call, right?
No, but like I think that once they realize what they're talking to someone who works at a whiskey bar, like they just want to ask a couple questions. And like I'm not asking for anything free. You're just asking for some information,
right?
To sell it to sell your product better. If their boss found out that they denied that phone call, I mean, I'm assuming they're getting in big trouble.
That's a really cool idea though, to like, I mean, especially because you're like trying to sell their product, to just get on the phone and be like, hey man, like I got a bottle of your bourbon sitting right in front of me. What like you sell it to me so that I can sell it to this person.
Well, now I would ask them like stupid questions too, like the internet says it's got 74% corn in it. Is that true? Right. And then it just gets them talking, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I'd say 25% of the time, like I got nothing. I would just get like the hostess at the front door, or at the restaurant side, but and she'd be like, my manager's really busy right now. Like, it's Tuesday at 3. I guarantee you they're not.
Dale, somebody's wondering about the whiskey.
What was so I remember so for me I got into bourbon like not as long ago as you did, right? Like
I'm like 2014, so it's not that long.
2020. No, yeah. I'm even soon. Well, I don't know, maybe around there. So I actually remember, like when you're in like your 20s and you're like, I'm gonna go to the bar and I'm gonna do shots of this, or I'm gonna drink this. Like I was a beer guy. I could never do shots of anything because everything just made me want to throw up.
You graduated from that?
Yeah. From what? From like beer?
No, from doing shots of this and shots of that.
Oh yeah, I was doing shots, man, and I couldn't.
It's the wake up call, boys.
This guy over here.
Except this. Exactly. This. And Sambuca.
Except
this and Sambuca.
Except for tonight.
Except for tonight. I'll do. Yeah, I graduated. Like this is a downgrade for me. You got. I don't know. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? So I was like, I remember like my first like whiskey sitting at a bar and like sipping on it like on the rocks, and I was like, oh, this actually like I can actually like taste it now. Like it doesn't burn. It's not that like gross kind of like, like when you smell it and you're like, all you get is that alcohol burn. You're like, ugh, this is going to be gross. Tequila was that way for me for the longest time. Now I love tequila. Like I love tequila, sipping tequila. But I remember my first tequila was Town Branch. Town Branch was my first my first bourbon was
I
Town
was gonna
Branch.
say.
I was like, they make
They
the
make
tequila.
tequila.
I
Yeah,
didn't
they're
know
making
that.
tequila
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right,
I
sweet.
don't know if you guys have heard, but they got
That's
they got
I
some
know
new
about
guys.
Southern
on.
Town
Yeah,
Ranch.
they got real southern,
Real Southern.
real southern. It was a Town Branch bourbon, and I was sipping on it with a buddy. It was a Bears game, and he's like, "Oh, I'll take a Town Branch or Town Branch on the rocks." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, give me one of those." So I started sipping on it, and I was like, "Oh man, this actually tastes like." Now in comparison, it's still a good bourbon, right?
Sure.
But like it's just like it kind of like expands your horizon. It expands your world of like what there is out there. And I remember sipping on it, I'm like, oh man, I'm not like coughing, I'm not gagging. Like this is actually like pretty good. And then from there it was just like, well, bank account, this is it for you and me, man. Like
It's
this
been
is-
a good run.
It's been a good run. Hey, Chase Bank, I just want to let you know there's going to be some really weird charges on there. They're all
Huge activity.
Is it
there's
is
a
it
lot of activity.
weird to have your gags and dry heaves the next day, not the night you're drinking?
No, because like after
Great question. The question master strikes again.
Have you ever had that like night of drinking where you're like, I drank way too much tequila, and then like 48 hours later, somebody's like, hey, remember that tequila?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Thank God that's been a long time for me.
I can't drink Southern Comfort because of 20 years, probably 28 years ago. I had some Southern Comfort around a fire when I was like
When you're-
18. I was just pounding it. The next thing I knew, I woke up the next day with broken teeth. I got in a fight. Had no idea what happened.
Good Lord.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
That doesn't
escalated.
sound like you, Johnny.
No,
Yeah.
this was like
You're usually just a very reasonable person.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about the math being bad, but let's talk about the broken teeth.
there is
Did
a
you have the
point
long hair and the
when
tan
the
back then
fists
too?
of fury come out. What's that?
Did you have a long hair and the tan back then too?
He was on the football team.
Yeah, shaved head, fit
man.
as a racehorse,
Fit as a fiddle.
fit as a fiddle.
Fit as a fiddle.
Yeah.
Not me. Can't.
No more.
No one's body shaming you. You're good.
We'll leave that for. I'm beautiful the way I am, boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a
100%.
That's a Rumpelman's talking.
100%.
Mike, I absolutely love your enthusiasm for the restaurant industry. You display that in every single episode of the Sipping Social podcast. I'm curious what got you involved in this industry. Take us back to the very beginning where you're like, this is it. This is what I want to
For
do.
those who aren't privy to this, but Michael hits on a really good point. No one. I learned a ton of my customer service skills from Mike. He loves this job.
I'm not
he's
seriously like I
fantastic-
wrote this question.
fantastic
I
at
was
his
like
job.
the one thing I know. I've listened to every single episode, some of them multiple times, because my job. I love my job. Sometimes it gets real boring, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna turn on a podcast. I'm gonna turn on the podcast that I like to listen to. So I've listened to like every single one like multiple times, and every single one I'm like, damn, dude, Mike really fucking loves his job. Like
I do.
that's like the
Yeah.
coolest.
Ad
do.
shows, man.
That's like the
Yeah.
coolest thing. Like when does it feel at this point? Does it even feel like work? Or are you just like, man, I love it, man.
No,
I'm
for
gonna
the-
go in. I'm gonna go in. I love it. I'm gonna give
Yeah.
every day 110%.
There's definitely hard moments. I love my job. I love many things about it. Of course, I don't love sweeping and mopping at the beginning of the day
Sure.
to start my day off. But the first customer that comes in, if I get to help make their day better, love that. Love making people happy. I don't care if it's about food, whiskey, wine, whatever. You come into my establishment, I just want you to leave happy, and that's I get to do that multiple times a day on multiple different levels. A lot of people that I know, I've got to build great relationships over the last 20 years, including meeting my fiance at one of the restaurants that I worked at. So it could be on a day, like a one-time basis. If I know that you left the place happy and you're not going to come back, I'll never see you again. That's okay. But repeat customers and people that I get to build relationships with, that definitely adds to it. So it's just about making people happy. to be
Wait, so
honest
what was
with
the
you.
original question? I don't think he answered that. Like, what got you into
What
it,
got you,
right?
like where was your start? Where was like what
So
got you into
I
this?
started serving when I was 19 at Olive Garden, of all places.
Oh, hey, when you're here, your family.
Exactly. At that point, I had no idea I was going to work in the restaurant industry for a long time. I had designs of becoming a history teacher. Love history, love kind of making an impact on people. And I feel like teaching people about history to take them to whatever they're doing in their daily lives would maybe help impact people. But I ended up going away to school. That didn't work out. Came back home, got a job serving at Muldoon's when I was 23 and a half, 24. And then
It's fucking
He had a really nice apartment at the Wheaton Towers.
really nice apartment. So, but I ended up serving at Muldoon's for a couple of years, and then started bartending, and I realized that this is what I like to do. So it's definitely progression. I didn't know that when I was 19, when I started serving at Olive Garden. It definitely took, a half of a decade to figure that out. But once I realized the impact that I could have on, people's day-to-day lives, or even if it was twice a year or once a day, or once in a lifetime, and they left happy, that made me happy.
Yeah.
So a fulfilling job, definitely stressful moments, more than I care to share about, but you got to have a short memory, just like
Yeah.
just like a pitcher in baseball. You can't dwell on what just happened, because the next batter's up. You're like the next person up. You got to take care of that person, and it is what it is.
And they don't know or don't care about what just happened.
No, they have no idea. They don't see it.
That's
So,
a really, really good mentality to have. Like, you know what? Like this is what I did for this person. Let's do it again for the next person, if not better.
Yep.
So you met your wife.
Yeah.
At
Future wife.
future wife.
yeah, she would have been my wife at this point, because we had to
Had to postpone.
which is okay.
Dude, trust me. We got married. Dina and I got married during this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she's watching right now. Go ahead and tell everybody how miserable it was. Awful. Like, she super stressed. It was beautiful. Don't get me. I don't want to say like it was awful. Like, it was a beautiful wedding.
You wish you
She
didn't
planned
get married, or what?
She planned. We did get married.
No, you wish you didn't, or what? You
No,
said it
I'm
was awful?
absolutely glad we got married. But like
Yeah.
for her, it was miserable because she had to plan the whole thing. I mean, like, nobody expected this. Like, we were planning this. She was planning this for 2 years. I highly recommend holding off. Don't do it. Don't do it now. But didn't you
He
also
means get married, but not right now.
Right.
Not right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Get
right,
married
yeah.
still.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely.
It's
Gonna
great.
happen.
Just don't
Yeah.
do it right now.
Yeah, we're waiting.
Wait until this whole thing. But did you meet your wife? Is in the industry as well, right?
Yeah, she is in the industry, and I met her as a patron, and it's one of our episodes in the Sipping Social podcast. It's one of like the first 10 episodes, but we go into the whole story about all that. But basically, being a patron, trying to lock down a date with a female bartender, is one of the most impossible things. And it took me like a year and a half to like actually get in the door.
But it worked.
But it worked.
It worked. I actually remember that episode.
Get in the door to have a date first, not getting the
Sure. Yeah, no, I got that. Yeah,
yeah,
there was no
yeah.
innuendo
Okay,
there.
yes.
Yeah, there's no
Right.
innuendo
No.
there. Yeah, wink, wink. So
Still out of
I
wood.
actually remember that episode, and this is going to sound super, super creepy, but it's actually the reason why I bought this specific bottle was the Evan Williams Master's Blend.
Oh yeah.
You guys,
nice.
Yeah.
and I think she
brought
said
it back.
she brought it back. Yeah,
she did.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
she went to the Kentucky Derby and picked up that
Yeah.
Do we still
Evan
have
Williams
it?
Master Blend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't. I poured that one.
There's a couple
I think it was
inches
last.
left.
I think it was last Monday. I poured that one.
Right at the end of
And
this,
I-
we'll
I
all bottle
bought it.
chug it.
Yeah, and I actually bought that one when we went to the Evan Williams experience
Nice.
in March,
Awesome.
specifically because of that. I was like, nah, I gotta buy it.
It's really
I gotta.
good.
You guys gave it a good review, so I'm
It's
like,
really
I gotta
good.
buy it. I
The
gotta
best
buy
part
it.
about the episode is when John talked about his worst moment at a doctor's office. I think I laughed the hardest.
That I don't remember.
Well, you guys have to go back and watch.
Go back and
I
listen.
mean, I don't care. I'll
Yeah.
tell a quick.
I almost-
few
I
second
almost
story.
Give us the
peed
cliff
my
notes.
pants
I
a
mean,
Give
I
us
little
don't
the
bit.
cliff
wanna leave
notes.
people hanging. Maybe like 10 years ago, I went for a doctor's like physical, and I thought I had these weird lines on my like legs, and it ended up being just stretch marks because
Oh,
I'm a fat.
Yeah, too fat, too fast.
I'm like, what are
Honey,
these things?
Come
And
on.
just like these few little lines. I'm like, I have no idea what these things are. And they're like, she's like, they're stretch marks. I'm like, oh,
Oh, do I owe you money now for this? Like, does my
Thanks.
insurance cover this, or do I have to
It's
pay
like
out of pocket? Is
$100
there copay for this?
$169 doctor visit for these
That's
lines on the inside of my legs.
Yeah. Oh, they're stretch marks. Oh, I recommend. Yeah, your prescription is going to fucking diet.
do I have a disease?
Yeah.
No,
No.
Yeah, and
you're just growing.
yeah, and your prescription is less carbs.
Yeah.
COVID has thrown a wrench in the gears of the restaurant industry, and I'm sure it's kind of brought out some customers that you'd rather forget. We've heard and seen of some pretty terrible things that some customers are doing at restaurants during COVID. So let's just get it off your chest, guys. Worst customers of the week.
For me, honestly, it's just the elderly that think that it's a food court. So if you haven't been in downtown Wheaton, okay, you got
This is so
seven
true.
restaurants,
Food court.
7 restaurants
At a
on one
mall?
street. Yeah, exactly. 7 restaurants on one street sharing 2 tents. Everybody has their own tables. They're all laid out. Most of them are marked for the Burger Social or our neighbors. People will grab food from other restaurants on different blocks and just like walk over and like plop down and hang out. They're the most confused. I get it. I understand it's a confusing time. There's a lot of, like I said earlier, there's a lot of explaining for the elderly who are not out a lot already. That doesn't help, but they think it's a food court. So they'll literally go to every restaurant, get a to-go menu, go down to the end of the block, stand at the end of the block, look at all of them, pick the one they want, and go sit down at a table. Well, sometimes there's 3 of them together. They want to order from one restaurant, another restaurant,
Oh yeah.
and another restaurant. So when you explain to them that this is the Burger Socials table, the guy's like, well, how's just going to get a pizza across the street? You can do that. You just can't sit here and do that. So while that's, it's confusing. I
Sure.
get it. I haven't had a lot of abrasive customers involving any mandates of masks or what we're doing. When we explain it to people or request that they put a mask to come in, I haven't had any blown ups at our restaurant. Now that doesn't mean that doesn't happen. So it's not as egregious as some might think. I think it's just there's some weird nuances that have never been a part of what we do before.
Yeah, we've had the I can't believe you're making me wear a mask to walk in. Like, or last week I got why are you wearing a mask? You think that this is like part of my outfit? Like this is something that I chose to do? Like I'm trying to get face sweat.
This is the ensemble.
Yeah.
It's a part
This
of
was
it.
not an accident.
This
right?
is a Gucci
Halloween.
outfit.
Yeah. So and then and I've never heard more political debates with me and then with other customers amongst themselves. And usually there's like a couple rules, like when you sit at a bar, right? Like you don't talk about politics, you don't talk about religion.
Yeah.
And like the ones that like you will never change anyone's opinion on.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not the time to have that conversation.
Yeah, especially while drinking. So
Right.
I've made that mistake talking to family members.
Oh, dude, it's a nightmare. And you just never speak to them again. You're like, I'm sorry, man.
yeah.
It should not be brought up.
I got called a fucking asshole when I told her that her daughter couldn't come in because she didn't have a mask, but that I'd go and get her one. That we go give her one. And then as I was walking away to go get her one, she called me a fucking asshole, left. And then if anyone wants to look up our Yelp 1-star reviews, it's the most recent one.
That good, huh?
Yeah.
We'll post a link.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've heard of a one story that I heard in the industry was that things got a little like crazy one night in one of the bars, and this woman decided she wanted to dance on top of the bar, and
Naturally
the bartender said, "No, that's what are you thinking? No, it's not cool." And then the owner was there, and I think they said something like, "Oh yeah, whatever, yeah, go ahead and do it." And so this person danced on the bar. And then was dancing on the bar. And then when they got off the bar, the bartender was wiping down the bar. And that whole group of women who were a part of the woman that danced on the bar were making fun of the bartender because they were cleaning the bar after someone just stepped all over the bar. I mean, in a normal case, you'd clean it off anyways if somebody was dancing on the bar.
I would hope
Right.
so.
Yeah.
But in the COVID, the whole thing, like who knows what she's walking? I mean, who knows?
It doesn't matter what she's walking in.
But at the same
Right?
time,
I don't whatever's on the
why
floor on the bar.
Why are you letting somebody get in that situation and do that? Who knows?
Especially
But,
right now,
yeah.
I mean,
This was at a bar closer to the city, but
in like a Coyote Ugly bar, maybe. I've been in one of those once, and it was like, oh, there's athlete's foot on this bar for sure. Like there's fungus. Is that a mushroom growing out of the bar? When was this last wash? Terrible.
That's funny.
Yeah,
So I don't think it's like the one worst story. I think it's just like a combination of daily mini fights that like can beat you down.
I think there's just this like stark contrast between the staff that's working who has to adhere to these guidelines and then the public who
And who are forced
has
to,
more loose guidelines coming into your establishment and they want to get back to norm.
Yeah.
And then you just have this gigantic contrast.
when the
between,
staff is forced to enforce the rules that they didn't create by this, then the state decided to do it, and it differs from county to county and state to state. It's just.
Is there anything that you like with everybody watching now and that we'll watch later? Because this is obviously this is not going away anytime soon.
Right.
If you could just say like one thing to everybody to like just do like, here's my 30-second spiel. Just when you go into a restaurant, do this.
Be patient.
Be patient. Yeah, really. Yeah.
Seriously, be patient. You're probably understaffed, probably doing things that are not used to. Just be patient and be happy that you're out.
And tip. My God, people, tip.
Well,
Yeah.
be
You're,
patient because like the tables are now 40 feet away from the restaurant. So
Yeah.
Right.
these
I'm-
people are running all over the
I'm
place.
walking 13 miles a day.
Yeah.
My short snippet would be just get on board.
Yeah. This is the way it is.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Like you're not alone. You know what I mean? You're not the only one doing this.
Right.
We're all doing it, both sides.
Right.
So just come together and be happy doing it together.
Like this
That's-
isn't something that anybody wanted.
no.
You know, it's
No.
just it's the way it is. Like
It
you
is.
just have to adapt to it.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, just be, you know, open to the fact that like, hey, you know, like it might take a little bit longer. They're doing the best they can.
Right.
We did an initiative a few months ago where it was like we called it Tip Your Total. And we did it, you know, a bunch of my buddies and I did it. It was, you know,
Sweet.
if it's like a $30, you know, tab at, you know, whatever restaurant that we take out, like leave them a $30 tip. Like, you know, it's not, I mean, yeah, it's an expensive night, but like you guys are going through hell. It's a lot to kind of like take in and kind of to, you know, to process. Like leave a good tip.
We definitely in the industry appreciate that, and there are an abundance of people who are doing that, going above and beyond. You can see it when we do curbsides, and there's heavy curbside to goes. I don't want to break down like numbers, but on a heavier nights, you'll see an uptick in heavier tips for to goes. You know, these are people that are getting $80, $100 to goes with cocktails legally, and leaving $20, $30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which for to go, if you're getting 20%,
That's a huge
that's
win.
huge. You know what I mean? So if you guys are doing 100%, we applaud you guys
Yeah.
for doing that, because that's huge to anybody who's working curbside or to goes.
Screw you, Brian.
The future of the restaurant industry is going to look very different than many of us are used to. Coronavirus has forced everyone to adapt to these changes, and restaurants and bars aren't any different. As a nation, we won't be going back to, as we call it, you know, quote unquote, the way it was for quite some time. And the hospitality industry, for one, as a whole, will certainly change. What changes do you guys see being made to the restaurant industry post-COVID?
I think you're going to see a lot more just focus on sanitizing everything, just making sure that everything's healthier for people, less menus, physical
That's
things.
number one, I think.
Physical things that you will actually touch. Some restaurants are just putting QR codes at their hostess stand.
That's it.
And then just says, click your phone on this. Not that's your menu going to the table.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So I like this idea because now you have a plethora of information at your, you know, disposal, even before you even come to the restaurant. You can literally get our whole menu online, figure out what you want to have, plot out your first 8 drinks. You know, I don't care. Plot out everything before you come a couple days beforehand. You know, I want to get this appetizer. I want to get this burger. I want to have this cocktail. So it just, things of that nature, I think, will become more the norm. And I think that you'll see a lot of restaurants just focusing on safety and health issues in that regard. And that's not, I don't think that's going to go away. Even when 2021 comes around and a little bit more normalcy comes back, you'll still see a lot of restaurants still doing the mask thing. You know what I mean? Like, these are heavy populated places. This is where people gather. This is where things like tend
Sure.
to fester.
But yeah, I think the whole tech savvy thing is kind of a cool thing because you're driving people to your site, your menu, right? And that necessarily doesn't ever happen. I mean, people will search like, you know, good places to go, but when you're at the restaurant or you're learning about the restaurant, you know, it's just good to have people go to your site, right?
Yeah.
But sanitizing, safety, awesome. But what I'm interested in learning about is like, are there details around making it mandatory to have all this plastic being used, as far as like plastic cups, plastic, you know? I mean, I've been to multiple different places where they're either using, you guys are using a lot of paper product, which is great. There's other people that use,
Right now we're not.
you're not,
So
you get switched.
Yeah, we're back to using our normal glassware and,
Oh, cool.
and flatware and plates. But so at the beginning, we were told to not touch as many things as possible. And then once more, you know, information came out about it that you're still touching things that other people are touching.
Right.
What does it matter? So then we realized you're just wasting a bunch of stuff for
Yeah.
the environment. which became another cost issue.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen establishments,
So
using glassware like normal. Then
Yeah,
I've seen other establishments full on plastic,
right.
full on
It
plastic.
was recommended by the CDC that if you
Yeah.
could afford that was recommended, just because there would lead to less touching of things, but you're still clearing the tables, you're still touching things that people are touching, whether it's plasticware or regular, Chinaware or flatware or whatever. So it really comes down to washing your hands and sanitizing everything. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter if you using paperware or plasticware
Yeah,
or
just being clean.
Feel bad for the bus boys during that time.
everybody's doing it.
I think
It's part of everybody's
I think
job
one
now.
thing you're going to see is that
Top to bottom.
food costs and liquor costs are going to go up, especially as a patron.
Sure.
The cheeseburger that you normally get for $13 is now going to be $16.
It's still really expensive
Um,
according to everybody on Yelp, for $13.
Yeah, well,
Gladly pay.
maybe
$13
Yelp will go away. That'd
for
be,
a
that'd be
burger, burger
fantastic.
social, or
Exactly.
burger local. Gladly,
Exactly.
take my money.
Exactly.
I think the price will go up because I think that getting people to work in close proximity to each other is going to be not as easy either. So you're going to pay. I mean, the cost of the labor for back of house has already gone up over the past year. I think it's going to continue to rise. So, and if restaurants are only going to be at 50% capacity or whatever it may be, that means the restaurants are making 50% less or close to that, right? And hopefully curbside can fix that, but a lot of places aren't going to have that. So if they're the cost of putting out the product is going to go up. So I would look at there's going to be a lot of like COVID auto gratuities. It's going to be like an automatic you get like a delivery charge when you order pizza, then plus you got a tip. There's going to be a lot of like COVID charge just on anything that you order. There's going to be a bunch of price increases. I wouldn't even be surprised if people start you rent a bay at like the Top Golf.
Yeah.
Like you rent a table.
So
Like
I can see
$10
that.
an hour
I
for
can
a
see that
table.
happening, and you named a lot of things that I would be weary of as a consumer.
Well, yeah.
That would scare me.
I see all those things in the future.
But some of the things that you didn't that I want to talk about as far as positive things is that a lot of downtown areas are providing tents and areas where people can eat and dine out like they are in both of the towns that we work in. Some of the restaurants have more seating than they did before.
Yep.
So while that's not great year round, but for a 7 to 8 month period, you're really able to, I hate to say it, almost like coastal towns where you rely on tourism, that they have these swings that are like massive. I almost think that the restaurant industry is going to be like that. In the summer, it's just going to be packed and everybody's going to just be going bonkers. Come wintertime, it's going to slow down heavily for 3 or 4 months, and then you'll see an uptick in the future, But with these downtown areas providing tents and more outdoor seating and allowing these streets to be blocked off for us, if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have survived.
No, absolutely not.
So,
Johnny, as a patron, like you and I are like, obviously we're not like in the industry. Is there something that you either A, expect to see, or B, would be like, oh, hey, you guys should do this and I'll come more often?
No, I'll be there. I'll be there any day, any hour.
As long as you have your distribution company here.
Yeah, as long as the distribution company. No, I mean like, no, I mean, I want everything to go back to normal. There's nothing wrong with how it was. Like I said, I think the benefit out of this would be, just being nicer to people, sanitize. I mean, you get sanitize anyways. Like it's, I don't know. I think the industry was fine how it was.
Yeah, yeah.
I think after this, there's nothing to change really.
Right.
We just got to get rid of this.
Yeah. True.
I do think that curbside pickup will never go away.
Oh, curbside pickup is so
It's genius. I can't believe
absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So we have a Pepe's Mexican restaurant by us in Batavia, and we do like their margaritas to go.
nice.
I love just being able to go and be like, I like theirs. I don't want to make my own because it's not going to be the same.
Right.
Like I want to go get theirs.
I do have something out of this that I wish would remain the same. Is the setups of the streets and the outdoor areas that are these huge courtyards.
Right?
Did you already say this?
Didn't I just say that, or did I just not say it in that good of terms?
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry.
Well, I just think it's such a destination now. Like just
especially
the camaraderie of like everybody
Yeah.
dining together.
Yeah,
That's
for
great.
sure.
Hanging out.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mike.
It should happen every year.
You just describe things better than I do.
It's
okay.
I
There's
think
nothing
it's
wrong
really
with it.
interesting because I love food. I love cooking. I love watching Food Network. I love going to restaurants. I love talking to people who also love food. It's an interesting thing because, whether it's these brown spirits or the food, it always kind of seems to like bridge that political gap. You know what I mean? Like right now we're very left and right. You know what I mean? But if you can get people together that just really enjoy this one thing, like I really love going, like I said earlier, I love going to Burger Local in Geneva for their, their mac and cheese. If I'm sitting next to other people that really enjoy the same thing that I do, especially this stuff right here, I've made so many friends,
Sure.
lifelong friends, family off of
Let's
this
brag
stuff.
over here.
You know what I mean? Hey man, gotta brag. Yeah. But I think especially in the restaurant industry, it kind of it bridges that gap that kind of is like very separating.
It definitely can.
You know
it
what I
definitely
mean?
can.
It's just like if you have like that one good meal together.
Well, and that's
or
what
that
food,
one good drink
food and
together.
drink bring people together.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
Absolutely,
So
I think we're all trying to get back to that too, right?
yeah,
Right.
and that's what we want, but at the safest possible way, so everybody feels comfortable. Not the person who doesn't think anything's going on, or the person who's the scaredest.
Yeah.
We want everybody to be able to come and enjoy the time.
Yeah, it would be definitely be nice to go back to normal. I think I've got hold on, let me open up my notes here. All right, last question before we log in. Steven,
Final.
Johnny, we know you're a Coors Light guy and Captain and Coke connoisseur, but I want to know from all of you, what is your desert island beer, whiskey, cocktail that you think people need to be drinking right now?
Like one of each.
One of each.
Yeah.
What are you guys?
How
either
much time
A's-
you got?
Hey, plenty.
All right, I'm gonna go first.
Is
All right,
this
go
the
for it.
island question?
This is the island question.
This is
Wait,
your
beer,
this is your desert.
beer.
By the way, hold on. By the way, so I saw you poured the so Spirit Works. You poured their 4-grain bourbon.
Yeah.
So they're out of Sebastopol, California. They just recently won craft distillery of the year. I know what I think.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think it needs like 3 more years.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I agree. Krista and Ashby and Timo. No offense, it's a great product. But I agree. I think it could use a little bit more time. Did you try the Tattersall? Are we drinking anything else yet before we?
That's the whiskey acres.
You want to try the Tattersall?
Yeah.
I think you guys should try the Tattersall.
I'm gonna.
Oof.
Jesus.
Yeah, right. You just look at the proof. What's
Yeah.
this? What's the proof on there?
132.6.
132 points. That's a
I'm
Benny's
gonna
pick.
love it.
Tattersall. Ooh, boy, is it good.
Good night,
All right,
Patrick.
You guys are what? Yeah, you guys are gonna want to. Wilson,
So-
cheers, fellas. About to hop on a virtual tasting, great sipping. Wilson, thanks for joining us tonight. I will talk to you. I will talk to you very soon.
All right. So if Mike's leaving right now, I'll go first. This isn't fuck, marry, kill. This is the beer, the cocktail, and the whiskey that you need to bring to your desert island with you.
Like
forever.
what are you if you have that one thing that you think people need to be drinking right now?
Half
whether it
Acre Tome.
be- Okay.
It's a 5.5% juicy pale ale that's not over the top juicy. You can have 3 in a night. Sazerac rye whiskey
Oh, dude, right? For sure.
for 29. I think I'm missing. I'm short a bottle of Sazerac rye. It's the only reason I bring it up.
So
And then the cocktail, I think you need orange, cherry, walnut bitters. You can double down on the Sazerac rye, but I would do a high proof bourbon and make yourself an old fashioned.
all day.
Just
Old-fashioned all day.
those three bitters. any combination of those three, you can make 10 different wildly different old fashions. Walnut, cherry, orange bitters.
Okay. Mike?
So here's the precursor. We all know that I love Daisy Cutter from Half Acre. It's
Love
my
it.
favorite beer of all
Beautiful beer.
time. So
Love
you're asking about
Is that number
island.
2?
Let's
at
say
least two.
Daisy Cutter doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Right
'Cause
now,
that's
it doesn't
that's the
exist.
only way I could answer this
Right.
question. All right, sweet. So I'm going with Solemn Oaths End All Hazy IPA.
Oh, you mean the one that we made?
6.5%, delicious. On an island, you can drink it all day. It is phenomenal. It'll never get you too turnt, and you'll be good to go.
Turn.
Yeah. So as far as the cocktail goes, I'm going Sazerac rye, old fashioned, easy on the sweet. Got to have a little bit of citrus in there, whether it's from the peel or from some bitters. And then whiskey is always going to be Weller CYPB.
Really?
If you don't know about this, and I know a lot of you,
If anyone finds one,
well, first of all, if you go to a bar
real
and you
shame if
see
you sold it
if you
to
see
us.
how much, if you see a CYPB, a white label Weller on the back bar, first of all, ask how much it is.
Yeah.
You don't want to pay an astronomical.
if it's over 20, get out.
Well, 25 is reasonable.
Sure.
Sure. So It is a 10 out of a 10 whiskey for me. It doesn't get better than that. I love it. It's unbelievable. So that's what I got.
My favorite thing ever was when we were in
Captain?
when we were in,
Well,
when we were in Louisville.
and Rumples.
No.
We bought the rest of the bottle of the CYPB for Mike at this
When,
dive bar.
when you're
Yeah, it
when
was
you're stranded
fantastic.
on an island, you don't have much cash. So I'm gonna go cheap set.
No, you're bringing it with you.
No, you're bringing
You're bringing it with you.
No,
Like you have like at this point, you're like, all right, I'm gonna
You made it.
rummage. You've made it. Boom, boom, boom. Cocktail, beer, whiskey,
Okay, beer.
or just spirit in general.
Beer, I think, in ice cold natter days, you
Dude,
can
oh
crush
my
those
God.
things,
Dude,
and you're like on a
dude,
90 degree, 100-degree day, you can just crush that
I
lemonade beer.
Love. Oh,
So I do a
I
natter
love it.
days.
I love it.
Mike got me on that
Dude,
train.
yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
These are
Steven,
delicious.
Steven, I know you're still watching Natter Days, man. Tell oh, dude. So we go I'm real quick. We go to a place in Wisconsin it's like 4 or 5 times a year called Partyville. Pardee-ville. We have a friend that has a lake house out there. He's got a boat. We get 3 cases of Natter Days, and by the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, gone. It's all we drink. I love it.
Easy drinking.
Dude.
You just pound it.
Oh, dude. And it's like it takes
Golf
forever for you to
outings.
get like
What's
even
the
that
ABV
river.
on that? Like
Dude, I don't even know.
2.5%.
Probably.
No, it's
probably.
Like
It's, I want to say it's like 4, almost
4.5.
5. Yeah.
4.5.
Dude, it's higher than
4.5.
you think
Yeah,
it is.
it is.
Ooh,
But it's so refreshing.
ooh.
And if you're on a river,
It's a
on a
boat.
hot
It's a
day,
boat beer.
it
Man.
totally is.
It's a boat beer.
You're out on Lake Michigan,
Shout
charter
out,
fishing.
Shout out to Natural Ice, man.
Absolutely.
Really, anybody at Natural Ice that's going to be watching or listening, or maybe wants to get in touch,
Yeah.
I
Hook
would
us
be
up.
It'd be
gladly.
real
hook us up. We'll,
shame.
We'll do a
hit me
review
up.
on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Not his ours.
Both of them. Both
But
of
yeah,
them.
both.
Both.
Natter Days.
And one of the best things that I've had more recently is the Angel's Envy Rye.
Oh, dude, I love it.
It's
I
incredible.
love it. It's
I think
it's
I
my
could
favorite
probably
rye.
just pile on a case of those things and be happy on an island by myself.
There you go.
And cocktail wise, Captain Coke, baby.
Did anybody not
No,
see that?
nobody doubted it.
Any
Did
kind,
anybody not see
any
that
kind of
one
rum and
coming?
coke. Because
Nobody
once you
doubted
have once you have the rum on an island, you can make coconut something
Yeah.
or some sort of
Make
fruit
anything, yeah.
concoction with rum.
Theoretically, you have limes.
You gotta have
you
rum.
know?
everything.
Right.
All the things
And
at your
then, you know,
disposal.
and
All the things.
Hopefully, you have a machete.
hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't
Some Tinder.
see. I don't know what I would go with. I have like I love the craft side of
Wait,
things.
wait,
Like,
hang on. No, we didn't get to say. I don't know what we would go with.
Yeah.
What we need your top
Hey,
3.
Does it-
Where's your 3?
by saying that doesn't mean you get to get
Yeah,
away with
you
like
don't
a
get
bad
away with it.
answer.
We-
all right,
we
all right.
need
I'm gonna
your-
all right. I'm gonna give it. So I love a good old fashioned. I know,
Trying
right?
to get out of it.
Unbelievable.
Trying to get out of it.
Who, first of all,
Is
who
he-
invited
is
this
he-
guy?
Is he hosting it?
I know who invited this fucking guy. Get him out of here. There's the door. I'll see my way out.
Let's make sure we wash that microphone.
Yeah, right. Whiskey, I'd go Journeyman. I'd go Corsets, Whips, and Whiskey. I love
That
it.
stuff
Cool.
is
I love it, dude.
incredible.
I
It's
love
really
it.
good.
We're actually so this Saturday, we did a private barrel with them. Of course, we bought a.
How many gallons
Nice.
is that?
Can I
15.
trade you a bottle?
15.
We have a private barrel that we
Yeah,
did
dude,
with
I'll have like
social.
I'll have yeah, dude. I think. Well, it'll be next year that it's ready.
I'll save
Yeah.
a couple for you.
Yeah, it'll be next year that it's ready because we're barreling it
That's cool.
on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be about a year that it's year-ish that it's ready.
I hope it
I'll give
turns
it.
out good.
Huh?
I hope it turns out good.
Me too, man. Me too. So we got 10 of us that are going up there on Saturday. And
Very
we're
cool.
gonna we got to dude, it's
Old
super fun.
fashioned, 100%
Old
wheat
fashioned.
whiskey from Journeyman.
Dude, I fucking
And then
do
what's the
Corsets,
beer?
man. Beer for me. God, what would my beer be? I'm either going to say Energy City. Do you know what? This is going to be real polarizing because it's either going to be literally any like fruity beer from Energy City or Dragon's Milk, man.
That's cool.
Dude, I love that Dragon's Milk.
That's cool.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. Especially right now because it's getting colder. You
Yeah.
know, it's like it's one of those things that you want to sit outside and just like sip on. You know,
So to an island, you want to bring the
I want to
colder
bring a
beer.
stout.
Yeah.
I want to bring a stout to a hot
A 10%,
hot- a
10% stout. Come on.
Well, you know what? If
bring
I'm
it.
stuck on an island, I
Bring
want to
it.
get fucking lit.
You're gonna have to dig
You're
Yeah,
literally gonna be
yeah,
wasted
dude,
by
I'm gonna get
noon every
lit.
day.
Super deep.
By
Yeah,
keep
and
that
you know
going.
what? And that's totally fine. Like if I don't die of liver disease or fatty liver before that,
Yeah.
I think of like a Tom Hanks situation where I just get picked up by a cruise ship.
Sure.
You know, I don't know.
You're gonna
You and your
lose
bottle of Dragon's Milk.
And
You're
my
gonna lose
bottle
a ton of weight, right? Being
Oh,
in the
dude.
heat, so you need to put it back on.
Right? Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
I mean it's high in calories. You know,
Right.
who cares if I have high cholesterol, right?
You're the only one there.
So I don't have anybody to impress,
Yeah.
right? Unbelievable.
Oh, the tatter. Someone asked about the tatter salt.
Oh, the Tattersall. So the Tattersall is out of Minnesota. This is a Binny's pick. My buddy Joe that works at the Oak Brook Binny's location recommended it. This is one of my absolute favorites.
It's full of flavor.
Dude, it's so
I'm
flavorful.
getting a lot of fig and raisin.
Oh, yeah.
right?
Raisin.
Like syrup soaked raisins almost, right?
It's a lot of heat at the beginning,
Yeah.
but it does mellow out at the
Mellows.
end for the proof that it is. It's up there. I don't know how many
I'm not gonna
whiskeys
lie to
I've
you,
had
the-
that are that
the-
high.
What is this about?
The insides
Did we
of my
say that?
cheeks are becoming numbed.
A little bit.
Yeah, right in,
Little
right
bit.
in here.
The sides of my tongue are numb.
Pounded it.
We also.
Someone asked about that. So you scroll
Oh,
back
here we
up.
go. Hold on. That it is. Yes.
No, up.
Whomst.
Up. There you go. One more. All right.
I guess.
There we
it
go.
Mark Austin.
Mark Augustin. I
yeah,
want to know what
Augustin.
he thinks about the Tattersall. Mark, I think I don't.
We're talking about Mike. Is he right?
No, you.
Oh,
Which Mike?
nice. Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
good.
He wants to know what
I
you
would.
think.
I would buy it. Oh, how much is it?
I can't remember what I paid for. I
Over
wanna
under
s-
$60.
Oh, under. Yeah, I
100%
want to say.
buy it.
Yeah, this was. I want to say like $43.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you're gonna impress any of your friends who come over looking at your whiskey collection with this one, but it's gonna taste really good.
Dude, this tastes fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I downed mine. I didn't actually realize it was
Yeah.
132.
Yeah, no, you're gonna. Yeah, it's not the Rumplemans that's gonna do it. It's gonna be the Tattersall.
I'm just like,
you just like took a shot of it. Yeah, no, this is some pretty strong stuff, and it's like you said, it's like syrup soaked raisins, right? Like super like
Dude,
really
totally.
flavorful. Totally recommend it. Distillery out of Minnesota. I wish I knew more about them.
Can I interject real quick?
Yes.
They are more known on the liqueur side.
Big
They
time.
have, they have a lot of liqueurs that are
cocktails.
really good for cocktails. They're not cheap, but they're all fresh.
Sure.
None of them taste fake.
Super
you,
fat.
you
Like,
could
no
tell,
sugar added.
You could tell that they like put some serious like time and effort. We have a sour cherry that we use at a social,
Oh, it's so good.
and we put it in a mule with some vanilla vodka. Unbelievable! Like just the
Forgot about a
ginger, vanilla
you
vodka
want
with
to
some
change your
cherry.
answer?
You know what? Yeah, hold on.
Old-fashioned
Real quick.
mule?
I'm gonna go back.
We're on
It's too
record.
late.
Nah, it's too
Shit.
late.
Shit.
Yeah,
No,
you
you're
really
out.
Can
messed
we
that one
rewind?
up. No.
Yeah, we'll edit
can't
this. We'll
rewind,
edit it
can we?
later.
We'll edit this. We'll edit this later. We also sipped on tonight, you guys. It's a local, one of our local distilleries, Whiskey Acres. We know Nick and Jamie really well.
Yep.
We sampled their bottled and bond, which is just released a couple weeks ago. Really
I
enjoy
really
it.
appreciate you bringing that bottle in
Yes.
and letting us keep it. It's really nice of you.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Signed it
I'm not
all.
gonna.
Yeah.
Sign it
Yeah.
up.
Well, it's Michael signed it, so
It's really good though.
Yeah,
I'm
it
so
is
glad
really
you
good.
brought it because I hadn't had a chance to try it.
You're
yet.
like
And
like
the
Serrano and Major.
flavor-
You're like
flavor.
Serrano and Major League. Hat for bat.
yeah.
Gracias.
Gracias.
That's not for you, dude.
What did you guys think, though? I mean,
really,
what did,
really
of the Whiskey
tasty.
Acres?
Honestly, very flavorful. A nice, easy ride out to the sunset as far as like the burn went
Yeah.
for me.
But I think we all agree that the rye was the best thing they did, and I think this might be better than that.
it rivals it for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I talked to Nick a couple weeks ago when I went to go pick up this bottle. I don't want to give anything away, but I talked to you guys a little bit off mic. These guys are Whiskey Acres. Keep an eye on them because they are coming out with some really interesting stuff. This Friday, I'm going to give a real quick plug. They are going to be coming out with their 2020 maple syrup cask this upcoming Friday
Sweet.
at 4:30. So I'm definitely going to be going to pick up a couple bottles of that. We'll have to drink a couple more things here tonight. We got a full bar behind us. Dina, I will text you when I'm ready to be picked up. You guys, thank you so much for having me here. It was super awesome. So I've never actually got to meet you guys face to face.
First time.
So this was super cool. It's always kind of interesting, like when you listen to you guys on air, it's real. You guys are just like a fun group of people to just kind of sit here and talk to.
This is all acting.
This
not real.
is none of this is
Yeah,
real. By the way.
Nobody
By the
likes
way,
Garrett,
I'm-
just so
I'm
you know.
totally- this is
We
a
pretend to like
These
Garrett.
guys are jerks. They didn't
100%.
speak to me at all. I had to sit in the corner.
You have to believe all the Yelp reviews.
Yeah, all the Yelp reviews. I'm super excited for more episodes of the Sipping Social when you guys get back to it.
We're gonna get back to it, and just one plug real quick.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know about the Sipping Social, definitely follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We will be getting heavy into it in the next month or so. We want to get back at it with our jobs. That hasn't been the case the last couple of months, but now we're going to do it. And thank you to you, Michael, and the Glass Less Travel, because this is going to inspire us to do it, because it reminds us of how much fun we have while we do it. And honestly, it's just to educate people and ourselves to grow together. So cheers and kudos to you.
Cheers
for
to
what you're
everybody.
doing,
I got
man.
a little bit in my glass. We're gonna pour a little bit more, gentlemen. You got not, Garrett, come on, man,
put
get with the
it
game.
here, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry that I drank
Pour
mine in a timely
some whiskey.
manner.
Just drink it out of the
In a
bottle.
time. You drank like 100 and
It's our bottle, right?
Hey, Mark, come by if you want after this.
yeah.
Be real shame if you didn't.
Pat, come by after this.
No, Pat's good. Pat's good.
Pat, stay at home.
I want to thank everybody
You
who
too,
tuned-
Brian. Come over.
you know what? Screw it, everybody. Just,
Steven,
just
you're
come
good.
on over.
You're good.
Yeah,
Come
Steven,
on.
Yeah,
Cheese,
Steven will definitely have to.
Whiskey
You guys,
and ice
you guys
is a
will love.
cocktail.
You guys will love. You guys will
100%.
like Steven. He's a beer guy.
Perfect.
He's
Perfect.
he's our beer guru. Dan is our whiskey guru. He loves
Dan's
scotch.
all right.
Dan's all right. Yeah, he's a
Whiskey
good guy.
on ice counts as a cocktail.
It does,
It does
100%.
count, 100%.
I have cocktails daily then.
Sure, me too. 2, maybe 3, sometimes 4 or 5.
Ooh,
Plus
I
a
was
night.
gonna say like 1, but yeah. All right, jeez.
Hey, thanks for setting this up, man. This is fun.
Lightweight.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for setting it.
Hey, all right, guys. Everybody, I want to thank everybody who tuned in the past 27 anymore? Anybody? 27 episodes of the Glass Less Traveled. I got into this because I wanted to learn more about the industry.
Nice.
I want to meet people. I want to kind of expand my knowledge. I really, really enjoy doing this. Right now, we're in the process of moving out of state. We're going to try to move to South Carolina, hopefully here within the next 3 to 4 months. I'm going to hope to have a better internet connection. I'm going to have a better studio, better lighting, better camera, better audio. Everything is going to be a little bit better. I'm going to try to get more craft distilleries and craft breweries. Thank you so much to everybody who has tuned in the past 27 episodes. I really, really couldn't have done it without you guys. Keep posted on the Fox Valley Whiskey Society. You guys have all kind of made this worth doing. I started this a little over a year ago with the Fox Valley Whiskey Society, and who'd have thunk that it had turned into almost 1,500 people that just really, really
Very
love
cool.
this one thing. So it's super cool. You guys, let's pour some more whiskey, and maybe we'll do another shot of Rumpelmans.
Boom.
I will keep everybody
Maybe.
updated with what we're going to be doing. What we're going to be doing for the Glass Less Traveled here in the future. Keep posted to our Facebook and Instagram page and YouTube. Keep watching our videos. Definitely go to Maze and Mash and Burger Social, Burger Local, Barrel and Rye. Make sure to go to all these restaurants and try new things and experience new things. Get to love whiskey, and whether it be gin or tequila or all these cocktails, just get to know these guys. They're super cool, and definitely go to listen to the Sipping Social podcast. Until then, everybody, until next year when we have a new setup, I will see all of you guys soon. Everybody, raise your glass for one more. For the
Cheers.
last
Cheers.
episode of season
Cheers.
1. Everybody, cheers.
Cheers.
Now let me
Cheers.
find the end broadcast button. There we go.